Welcome back to your favorite day of the week and your favorite show to listen to of the week, the Childish Grownups Show. Y'all know what y'all here for the nostalgia, the banter, the jokes, and of course, us kicking it, talking about films that we grew up on, films that were around when we were younger, and even at this big age that we are. I am the world-class Maurice Hunt, aka Mochaccino, here with my two co-hosts, Mia B, Ash Bash. Supporters like these, who needs friends, huh? Did y'all see that on YouTube? Did y'all see that? Nah. How y'all feeling?
I'm pretty good. Can't complain.
Same. Feeling all right. No complaints. Just,
You want to give them the word for the week?
Survival.
Survival, Hey, but I just seen a post tying it into our nostalgia from I think it's like 90s Kid Life. But he was talking about like the inflation, the difference in the like 2000, and obviously dramatic difference inflation. But he was like, hey, but remember, we're millennials. We can survive anything. So it's cliche, but I got where he was coming from, just from all that we've experienced in our lifetime. So yeah, man, we're glad to be back. Glad to be getting ready to do this movie that we're going to be doing today. That was Ash's pick. And y'all stay tuned at the end. The votes are in. So the reveal of the Stoop Kid selection will be revealed at the end of the episode. And man, they was fighting on this one. They were really fighting on this one. I was very surprised at how much like the vote. It was a lot of votes this time. So shout out to all the Stoop Kids. Speaking of Stoop Kids, definitely got a lot of interactions on Instagram about our movie and stuff like that. But I want to call out one here. Well, actually from YouTube. It's from Mama C. And this is from our last episode, The Fifth Element. She said, I watched this movie so much that my husband refuses to watch it again, LOL, let alone dance again. She said, I really enjoyed the breakdown, and Mo always makes me laugh. My favorite podcast. Maybe I'm biased.
That was a good one.
That was. That might have been the funniest thing. You saying that like 3 different occasions. Like I might be biased. Like might be.
No might about it.
No might at all.
Very funny.
So this is definitely y'all thing right here. You and Mama C, this is like y'all go to, like y'all still like. Okay, all right. Well, shout out to Mama C for that. I'm glad that we can provide you with laughter every week. That's the goal, is to laugh in trying times like these. So, and then crazy, we got a comment from our Love and Basketball episode. Boy, a grip ago. Now, here's the interesting thing. Now, the person, her name is Erica Cordoza. She left a comment, said, y'all should do review of Drumline next. And so I found it interesting because I was like, where did you get the idea of like what suggesting a movie when at that point in time we wasn't even doing that? So that's why I found like interesting. I'm like, did you like retroactively go back, or were you listening and just like, oh, y'all should do this? So I'm interested about that. What y'all think about that?
If she's going back, like she's probably like seeing how we're doing the Stoop Kid choice, and then she's like, skim the catalog a bit, and Love and Basketball is one of those ones. So
yeah,
maybe
I know.
Yeah,
one of our longest episodes too. Oh man! Shout out to you, Erica. Right in again. I think I did reply to her, and I told her to just here's how our voting works. Like, get in on the voting around this time. We already pretty much got everything in. So get in on that. But shout out to Erica. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Erica.
Now, what I am going to do, I'm going to tell y'all the movies, and you're still not going to get the final review, but of which one won. But I will say it here since we're still in the kind of the Stoop Kid section of the show. So The movies that were voted in were Baby Boy, Above the Rim, The Sandlot, and Juice. Okay, so just y'all let that sink in.
Two Tupac movies, huh?
I know, right? Yeah, man. It's about time. It's about time.
Yeah.
Pac got to be in this mix here soon. His birthday.
Remember, I just watched Juice. Remember, I said that last week. That's crazy.
I know. Yeah, it is crazy.
I feel like I know what's gonna win, but I'm gonna just.
So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much that, man. Thank y'all again. I know y'all can always leave comments on this YouTube. Leave us Apple reviews. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. And Ash, what was the count last time you checked? What was it?
Last time I checked, it was 73.
73. So beautiful, beautiful. We are at we're still currently at 73 subscribers with 85 videos. And we're on the road to 100 as far as our movies, and the road to 100 subscribers. So we're trying to get that big number. So y'all tell a friend about our show. Y'all enjoying it? Y'all laughing with us? Y'all having fun with it? I enjoy, whatever part. Y'all like the movie review? Y'all like the Flash with Ash? Y'all like the whatever y'all like? Like, tell your friends about it if it's that good to you. And leave us an Apple review. Like, get us up there. We really need y'all. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what kind of merch will be coming? We just need to see, what we working with right now. So that being said, childish grown up moment. Mia, I know last week you was just having a little bit of a, tough time, but a little bit of time has passed. Has anything changed for you?
So the only thing I really think I could say was childish, quote unquote, or like nostalgic. I saw 2 movies over the weekend, and the first one I went to see by myself because that's just something that I like to do. I went to see the drama, and like I took my big purse and had I mixed some flaming hot Funyuns and some Ruffles in a Ziploc baggie and put them in my purse.
The plain Ruffles?
I do. I prefer the regular plain Lay's, but every now and then I like to switch it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And then went to Walmart and got some Raisinets and some other candy and put it in my purse before I went to the movie. Wait till they turned the lights down, went and got my stuff out of my bag. And then I have another thing that's not necessarily childish, but it kind of is in the same thread as being a millennial. So I have 3 little sisters. They're 25, 23, and 18, right? So I went outside Saturday night and I was looking real cute. And I decided to post on my Instagram. Why these little girls gonna tell me, oh my God, that post is so millennial. The pictures are giving in my 30s. And I was like, well, what are they supposed to look like? I am in my 30s. I am a millennial.
That is,
that's
man.
funny.
Oh man. they call you the old lady right now. That's what they do.
Yeah. You just post like an old lady. Some millennials are old ladies now. That's what they be on.
Right. You know that generation, they low key be hating because we the last ones for real. The ones. That's what that is. That's all that is. But shout out to sis now.
Jealousy.
Hey man, look, man, get you somebody that can do both. Hey, it's funny. Some years ago, my wife and her sister, I forgot where we were, but we having a good time. I don't even think I was there, but it was like a video dancing, barbecue type vibes. And I remember I made a joke. I said, man, I was like, y'all both looking like some aunties out there. And so it was funny because they was like, we are aunties, right? But then they started to think about what I meant. Oh, you mean how we grew up and see aunties though. That's what you mean, so it's there's the cool version and then there's the other version. It's like you look like Unc on the grill. There's oh, okay, I'm cool hip Unc, or I'm an Unc with the closed toe sandals with the ball out your foot. Cause I'm about to get some of them joints for real.
Oh my God.
Just for grilling. I just gotta do it. You know what I mean? I gotta do it.
They be hating on me, but it's fine.
Hey man, they look up to you. That's all it is. You know, it's like, hey, I just want to be fly like that when I get over that 30 mark. Does anybody mistake you for younger? Do you get that?
All the time.
Okay. I'm sure I know Ash does. Like I definitely know. My wife does too. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, don't crack. You know what it is.
Yeah. I get it sometimes still. Like a guy that I was working with, he genuinely didn't know how much older I was than him. Like he's 26, and he was just like, yeah, you know, a few years ago, it's like, you know, we're like not that far in age. I was like, bro, I'm 10 years older. I'm about to be 36. He's like, whoa, he was like, what? Like, he's like, I don't know why I thought you was like maybe just turned 30, like 31. I was like, nah, bro.
Wow.
I'm on the other side of it. Like I'm looking at, you know, so, but shout out to, you know, to the good skin, you know. Ash, what about you?
And I get it until when I start talking, then they're like, oh, I can tell that you're like older than what I think once I start talking and stuff. But I do not have a childish grown up moment today. So I'm so glad that Mia held it down
Oh yeah.
for us because I've been doing some adulting and I just was like, dang, I don't think I did anything. Of course, my son went to his school dance, but I don't have anything there because I didn't go. And I'm like, I didn't have anything this week.
It's okay.
So, yeah.
Hey man, shout out to our Sunday review having 124 views. So,
Hey man, dude, that's crazy.
anyway, I'm sorry. I still got it all pulled up. That's why. But my childish grown up moment is tied into my kids. You know, like which always tends to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter, you know, y'all know she's 11, and so she plays a lot of 90s, 2000s music. That's her jam. Like that's just their jam. It just the formula of how music was made sticks better because they got a formula. We know that catchy chorus, catchy lyrics. You can hear what they're saying. You know, all of these things that you can remember the song. So she's watching the videos and it's just playing. Then Mario video comes on, and it's the "Let Me Love You" video. And so I'm sitting there talking about it. And this is I don't know if y'all have had this moment yet, but like when you realize you're old. So I'm sitting there and this is what I'm finding myself sharing the story. I'm like, yo, I remember when this was a new song. Like, and I'm sitting there like, yo, I remember when this was like a new joint. I said, man, he just cut the braids. He was getting in his grown man bag. We was watching like, oh, this is Mario from Just a Friend. And then it's like crazy to me because these are like the go-to repeats on radio and satellite. Like, right. I'm like, dang, we were around when it was new. But that wasn't a childish grown-up moment. Going further into it, I go into the room. She's still listening. She says, hey, Dad. She's like, Daddy, what's wrong with his beard? I'm sitting like, what's wrong with his beard? What you talking about? Like, I'm like, it's Mario. Everything's always normally on point. So I go in there and I look at the video. And it's, you know, the 2000s when they had the thin pinstripe beards with the goatees and stuff. Like, because that men were trying to be sexy. And that was like bruh, I fell out laughing. I was crying laughing, bruh, because I knew for somebody that didn't grow up seeing those pinstripe, because I even had it when I was in college. Like my sophomore year, I had like the chin strap and I had like the real thin.
So not the Lance Gross picture that I got of you.
Yeah.
Like, talking about that one.
I don't know. You got to send it back to me. But like the fact that she had said, what's wrong with his beard was by far one of the funniest moments, bro. Like, cause I was like, oh, data, I can't even begin to start to explain this. So, but for the record, those beards were nasty. Like the thin, the super thin created player beards, nasty, bro. So yeah, but man, yeah, that's our childish grown up moment. Y'all know y'all can reach out to us, leave a comment on here. You know, Mama C, one of the heavy participants in that. Sometimes Public Enemy, he hits us up and stuff. So y'all hit us up, or y'all can email us childishgrownups3@gmail.com, or hit us up on Instagram, The Childish Grownups Show. No spaces. No space. On the road to 100. Get us to 100. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. Ash.
All right. It is time for the Flash with Ash. And I feel like we got a lot to talk about in this movie. So I'm taking it easy on y'all today. And I have a this or that movie edition, but I'm going one per person. So I got a Larenz, a Vivica, and a Hallie. So we're
Oh.
gonna go this or that.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be the better movie. You can either do which one you like better or just their acting in it. You know what I mean? Which role you like better. So we're gonna start with Larenz, of course. We got Love Jones or Dead President.
Well, for me, Dead Presidents.
Hmm.
Dead presidents for me too.
While I am a lover girl, girly, girly, girly pop, um, Dead Presidents is just one of those like it made a mark on me. It left a print on me in a way
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like I know Love Jones is like the millennial love
Hmm.
story that people tend to gravitate towards. That's just not the case with me, I guess. It's not like my favorite. So I love his character in it, but Dead Presidents kind of left a mark on my psyche.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And why for you, bro?
I'm not a big, y'all know me. I'm not a
Yes.
poetry. I'm not a poetry guy. So I just don't. I don't feel you at all. But I do understand that like there is this like it's kind of like this like neo soul cafe vibe to like this kind of middle ground for black people that necessarily didn't exist before as far as showing love and dating and these groups.
Mm-hmm.
I love the aesthetic, and I look forward to watching it because I ain't watched it in a long time. So I look forward to when we do it. But Dead Presidents, just from Lorenz's acting, I mean, the movie has some big flaws to me, but the acting that he did, just of like playing younger and then getting older, like he's really good at that because we see it in this movie. So,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, Dead Presidents.
So these are you all's movie preference and like the impact. That's how you guys landed where you.
It's
Well, I know.
Love
I
Jones
don't
is
know
really
about.
impactful. I think Love Jones is more impactful. So I don't know
Oh,
if
okay,
it's
okay.
impact for me,
But I
but
know you're not a fan of.
I want to
Okay.
see your right leg.
Um, this is tough for me because, of course, certified lover girl. You already know that. And that presidents, it did, like Mia said, it plays with the psyche. It was scary a little bit too to me. There was a lot of realness in it. Like, of course, I mean, we may review this one day. Who knows? It's a lot to unpack in there. It's a heavier film, so I guess it depends on the mood I'm in. But I really don't go back to Dead Presidents like ever because I know how it ends. But as far as his acting goes, I guess I'd probably go with Dead Presidents too.
Mm.
But we never gonna disrespect Brother to the Night. All right, Mo, let's get that
Okay.
out the way. We not gonna play with
Iconic.
Darius Hall.
I like it better than brown sugar. So if that counts for anything,
Here you
It
go.
does. No. All right. So we're moving on to Vivica A. Fox from the town. Set it off or soul food.
Say those one more time. What was the first one?
Set it off or soul food.
Me first again. I'm gonna go Set It Off.
Okay. Better film or you like?
So for me, I love soul food. It's a classic, but so
Mm,
is Set It Off, and I feel like her performance
mhm,
in Set It Off was, for me, I think it was my favorite performance in the movie. Um, I feel like
okay.
it's super underrated. Like the character of Frankie is underrated. Like her performance in the bank when she's, I'm sure we'll
Mhm,
probably talk about this, but like that first scene of her in the bank, like when she's getting let go, and then at the end when she has that same conversation with
mhm,
like she really carried that like emotion in that performance to me that I feel like doesn't get talked about, like her chops enough.
mhm.
in that. So that's why I'm gonna go with Set It Off. Love both movies, but you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Set It Off. I mean, I don't like her. We talked about Soul Food. Go check out that review. I just don't like her character, and there's just zero accountability. And you know, seeing her and Set It Off, you know, that death is crazy. It's up there, and she really did her thing in there because there was these subtleties in her face and her, I don't know, it's just, and all of them actually, all of them did like really good as far as subtlety of getting to know these characters in a small amount of time. But it was just the way she was, like just like literally just trying to make it, and then you know getting fired on some BS and then crashing out like that, and like, all right, this is what I got to do. Like, hey, I'm about to, the way inflation is, I'm about to be on myself. I'm about to.
Hey.
You
trying to take it by coastal.
Listen to me.
Take it up the interstate.
You know. So yeah, I'm going Set It Off.
We're going trips here. I think she did good in Soul Food. I bought it, you know. But yeah, Set It Off is just, it's not talked about enough yet.
Yeah.
And especially Vivica's part of it. Like, it was her idea to even get it going. You know what I mean? How she got played. She did her thing. So yeah, we're going trips on that. And so we'll round it off with Halle Berry. Halle Berry. Are we going Swordfish or Losing Isaiah?
You wanna know what's crazy? I don't know if I've ever seen Swordfish. And if I have seen it, I think I've only probably seen it once.
I definitely only seen it once.
Yeah, I think I've seen it once or twice. It's got my boy in there, Wolverine.
Huge
name? Yeah, that's my guy.
I thought John Travolta was in there too,
right? He might be.
I thought he was the main guy. I thought.
Let me look. You ain't thinking about Face Off, are you?
No.
Let's see. Ain't Hugh Jackman in there?
I don't remember that. I don't remember that. I remember.
No, Hugh Jackman Face Off.
He is in there. They're both in there.
Oh, okay, there you go. All right.
Yeah. Okay. But of course, I remember Hugh because it's Hugh. Yeah.
But I mean, I remember it felt like maybe a heist film. I ain't watching in a while, so maybe I'm wrong. But I probably will go with Losing Isaiah, even though I don't think she deserved the kid. But yeah.
So, not the subtle recaps in your choice. Hey, busy work.
What are you
gonna do? Our Losing Isaiah episode.
Come on, man. Hey, Ash with the shameless plugs.
Hey, man, come on now. We gotta get road to 100.
Road to 100, yes.
I'm gonna go with Losing Isaiah too, just because I don't remember Swordfish enough to even to know what her performance was doing, and I think, of course, as she tends to do, Halle, she did her thing. She is so good at playing, the most beautiful woman in the world or the most tragically like down and out, drug addicted or, just homely. She's great at switching it up. She's so multifaceted. So I loved her performance in Losing Isaiah.
And we're going trips again. I don't really remember Swordfish like that either. I know it was action. I think that's what drew me in because I do like action movies. But yeah, one thing about Halle, she gonna either lose a kid or she gonna save a kid. Okay. So one thing about her and them roles, call all that, and it works every time, like you said. So, but yeah. So that is all for the Flash for that. Just kind of wanted to warm us up, keep it light.
We ain't got nothing for Leela out here, man.
I was gonna put her in there, and I like her though, but I was like,
I know she ain't.
No shade.
Yeah, we love Leela.
But
that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I said I wasn't going to do anything since we did do He Got Game and talked a little bit about 98. But I was trying to see, is there any corners of the world that I miss? Because I think this is a good section before Mia takes us back. Let me see here. We talked about that. So it's a couple of games that was notable. That Metal Gear Solid, that crazy, yeah, classic, brand new. You talk about anxiety, like when people. I always say it, but when people watch videos on YouTube now and people being funny, you hear that sound that came from Metal Gear Solid. And it was the scariest sound, because you be like trying to creep around. They're like, "Hey, whoa, what was that?" You're like, "Oh my god!" Like, and then you get that red alert and all that. Hey, sidebar. Me and my wife was talking about it. Do you know how angry it would be when you're playing 007 on the 64 and you get killed and they give you the red screen, bro?
Oh yeah,
like the whole blood screen, like you're out of there, bro. You see everything before you're out. Oh man, we were talking about that. I said that's disrespectful. But yeah, Banjo Kazooie, which was a cool game. I feel like it was in that Donkey Kong realm. Allen Iverson, talk about a little bit of an athlete in fashion. He was influential as far as the cornrows, the sleeve. Brands like Fubu, Tommy Hilfiger was heavy culture. Obviously, if y'all see the cover, I'm in there with the Hilfiger joint. You know what I mean? Beanie Babies. I don't remember if we spoke to that or not. Okay, the Beanie Baby craze. Mama C come through. I feel like, is this a Mama C thing?
No, Mama C thing.
Oh,
she collected Barbie dolls.
Okay, she still got them. Okay, fair enough. The phrase "you got mail" became iconic. And I think that's it. Everything I've talked about, like I said, in He Got Game review with 98, and I think even the Kevin Costner movie we did came out in 98 too, I believe.
Dang.
And so that's about it. So if we in 98, if I can remember, then I let it breathe there. But Mia, it's time for us to walk in that time machine. You pull that lever and take us back to the movie that we're reviewing today.
Okay, 1998. Why Do Fools Fall in Love? 3 women each claim to be the widow of 1950s doo-wop singer Frankie Lymon, claiming legal rights to his estate. For cast, we have Larenz Tate as Frankie Lymon, Halle Berry as Zola Taylor, Vivica A. Fox as Elizabeth Mickey Waters, Leela Rashawn as Amira Eagle, Paul Mazursky as Morris Levy, Pamela Reed as Judge Lambry, David Barry Gray as Peter Markowitz, Alexis Cruz as Herman Santiago, Miguel Nunez Jr. as a young Little Richard, V. Clifton Powell as Lawrence Roberts, Lane Smith as Ezra Graham, and we have appearances from Ben Vereen as Richard Barrett, Paula J. Parker as Paula King, and the Little Richard as himself. And this film was released August 28th, 1998.
Okay. Well, here we are. All right, so let's take a moment to be kind and rewind. Shout out to Blockbuster. Ash, this was your pick. I think you spoke a little bit to why you picked it. If you didn't, you can speak here. And then also give us how you remembered this film and what was it like this time around?
I picked it because it's a classic and it was a staple in our household. I was really trying to remember how we were introduced to it. I cannot remember. I want to say Auntie Mickey again. Shout out to Auntie Mickey, but I don't know for sure. But once it did hit our front door, we were watching it constantly. And I feel like we watched it a lot as a family because we started finding the humor in the film, probably where it shouldn't be necessarily. But of course, we're a goofy family and, you just gotta be able to laugh. So I remember that one specific scene where Frankie comes out to perform and he's like when he passes out because of the drugs. Like I used to do that. I used to go out there and do that in front of mom, and she just used to crack up.
Oh
Like
man,
I just
you want
come out
give us
there.
a little bit of that, man?
Nah.
Whoa, 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 oh,
Yeah, I used to do that.
oh,
Whoa. Like
drop
that was a whole
octaves.
thing in the crib. Like and again, Larenz Tate, need I say more? Always been a fan. And watching it this time, it felt great. And I watched it with my husband, so like I'm singing all the songs, like I'm remembering all the scenes, like and I was able to pull a lot from it because of the different relationship dynamics, and then just watching it with my grown up lens, like it was going on with Frankie, that I didn't obviously recognize when I was young. But yeah, watching it this time, it felt really good. Like singing the songs, like it just.
Well, yeah, hold that thought because we'll utilize that and how you want to approach this. Mia,
Okay.
what about you? Well, real quick, is this Tyler's first watch?
But the thing about him is, like, yeah, but it's been such a long time. But I'm like, he'll be remembering, you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, but it looks like, I said, it looks like a press play for you if we're watching. You know what I mean? But I be teasing him, but he said he's seen it before.
Okay, that's fair. All right, Mia, what about you? How do you remember this movie growing up, and what was it like this time?
Oh, I really don't remember. I don't remember when I was introduced to the movie. I know that it was probably like HBO or something. I remember it not being edited for TV, but that I saw it on like TV. Um, I remember being super fascinated by it. I've always been a huge fan of biopics, music, movies, anything based off of like a true story or real life. So just the whole concept of this being a true story and how it like started and like the whole story behind it was super fascinating to me. So of course, like that was really intriguing. I watched it a lot. I remember it was a movie that I don't think I ever owned, but anytime it would be on, I would watch it because I was just so fascinated by the story. And love me some Halle Berry and of course Larenz Tate. Yeah, I always loved this movie. I remember it very well because I've seen it a million times.
Mhm.
Yeah, similar to Ash. Like I said, it was a staple in the household. The thing about this movie that is always crazy for many years, even as a kid, really wasn't tracking that this is a biopic. You know, and again, they show the real Frankie Lymon at the end, but still, really, wasn't really tracked. I never watched it from the lens of how factual are these things. You know what I mean? This time, I watched it with a different lens. It was enjoyable then, enjoyable now, but I watched it with a different lens because, and I'll speak to it a little bit more as we get into the review. But I didn't realize how young they were, and that kind of changed how I was watching the movie, you know. But again, not that much because I had to remember, we talking about 50s going into the 60s. So it didn't change it dramatically, but it was something like, this is like crazy. You know what I mean? So a couple of things I want to bring up here real quick. So when Tina Andrews wrote the original script, the part of Frankie Lymon was first offered to Michael Jackson. All right. And Michael Jackson in '98, he already went through his transformation, right, with his skin and everything.
Hold on.
I about to say by '98, I think he was already, because I about to say if this was like from like back then when Michael was still,
I don't know though.
Yeah,
As far as
he was already depigmentation surgery procedure, all that good stuff.
Okay. A couple of little other.
Too tall. Michael Jackson is tall. What?
He's definitely like that's where. I guess we don't know how tall Frankie Lymon ended up being. Like that's the thing. I don't know. Okay,
Shorty.
That's what I'm saying. When we get the clip of him, then it was like he still. I thought it was like pretty much a little boy still. So I don't know how tall he get. I mean, we know he passed at 25, but yeah. Mickey Waters, which is obviously the Vivica A. Fox character, the pet Brussels Griffin dog, also appeared in As Good as It Gets in '97. Another thing, a later courtroom scene reveals that Morris Levy, or Paul Mazursky, earned extra royalties from the songs by Frankie Lymon and the Teenagers, including the singer Why Do Fools Fall in Love, by listing his name as a co-writer, even though Levy did not actually write those. So there's something we already know. Zola Taylor, the real life Zola Taylor, was still alive during production of this film. However, Halle Berry chose not to meet her, so her portrayal was as she saw it, and she, so she did it kind of based on her own interpretation.
Interesting. And I looked it up. He was like 4 feet tall.
Oh wow. He was like for real short. He's short. Was shorter than Kevin Hart. Wow.
Sheesh. Yeah, he was.
I want to say something, but I don't want to say it because, these are real people we're talking about. I always say this when we're talking about something true. Like, I don't want to put things on people, but it sounds like very much like he may have had some sort of
complex
growth restriction, like a condition, because it's not typical for a grown man. He was 25 to be 4 feet, anywhere under 5 feet, really.
Yeah. No, this thing is. I think it's like similar to like a Snoop Dogg, where like he it's like he can't gain weight. Yes, he has something about his genetics where he's not. No matter what, he's not going to gain weight. He's going to be the same size. So yeah, no doubt. Here's another thing. So Toni Braxton was set for a role in the film, but dropped out due to scheduling conflicts.
Who was she gonna be?
I don't know, but maybe she could have been one of the wives.
Like one of the singers.
Maybe she could have been Zola Taylor. Maybe. If she was going to do like the, not lip syncing, maybe doing the actual vocals, maybe I don't know. I didn't. They don't have that much information on that. But it's interesting. Of course, we know Halle Berry and Leela Rashawn was on Boomerang. Go check out our Boomerang review.
So many drops.
A lot of those. Halle Berry and Vivica Fox had not previously worked on a project before this film. However, Fox played the role of Emily Franklin on Living Dolls, which was the backdoor pilot from the series Living Dolls. When the show was picked up, Berry replaced Fox in the role of Emily. It also happened to be Berry's first on-screen credit ever. So she started in television. She started in television. People don't really know that, but of course we know Vivica and Miguel Nunez was in Joanna Man together. And yeah, I think that's good as far as like just interesting information. All right. So just a little bit of the overall discussion. I want to lay this out here. Okay. So Frankie was 14 and Zola was 18 when they were married, which is Halle Berry's character. And it said that yes, and that's why the Mexico thing comes in. And it said that was her second marriage. Yeah, I was looking up all this. I was looking up photos. I was getting in my bag because I was like, hold on. Let me lay it out here. Okay, Frankie was 20 and Elizabeth was 19, which is the Vivica Fox character. So just giving kind of a timeline to just like lay this out. And then Frankie was around 24 when Amira was 28. Obviously, we know that she had the shortest stint because he passed at 25.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that being said, how do y'all feel about these actors having to play so young? Because this is like tremendously young.
Well, I didn't know all that until you just told me. So just watching it without knowing, it worked. But definitely Hallie was giving grown woman. Like when Frankie was with Zola, even it shout out to Larenz because he looked really young. When he was with Zola, like when he was with the teenagers and stuff. So, but I'm looking at Hallie, I'm like, ooh, she's way older than him. You know what I mean? Like it was definitely giving exactly what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, he's in a group with teenagers. I'm like, definitely young. I don't know what age, but so that is something that I did notice this go round, like that age difference when I was looking at Zola and Frankie. I'm like, this looks crazy right now.
Mm-hmm.
But when he got to Elizabeth, it looked more aligned. And then of course when he got with Amira, it looked more aligned.
And I called her for the record, y'all. I just called her Liz through it because I was like, her name's Elizabeth, but they call her Mickey. You know what I mean? But
her Liz.
I just called her Liz for short because she feel more like a Liz than Elizabeth. So I just.
Don't we calling her Liz?
What's wrong with Liz?
That just does not fit Elizabeth.
For what do I call her? Beth?
Elizabeth Waters.
This is Vivica Fox we talking about.
Elizabeth Waters.
It ain't like Gina. Like her name was Gina Waters. Yeah, but
Liz is crazy.
Okay. You've never heard of Liz. You never heard Liz.
No, I have, but I like you. You saying that in this review, I'm be like, huh?
Liz, Viv. Come on, it's right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I've seen conflicting reports.
Okay.
I'm seeing that they met when he was 14 and she was 17, but they got married when he was 23 and she was 27.
It seemed like that made track because remember,
didn't he marry the other one first?
Yeah, he married Elizabeth first, but remember he didn't get back with Zola until after they were. Yeah, so he was older by then. So I feel like that might be closer to the truth.
Okay, that might be closer to the truth, but it don't take away the fact that she was there to get her justice
when he was 14.
Yeah, that part. That regardless, they were 500.
And it ain't like he was a 14-year-old who looked older. He was a 14-year-old who looked like he was 10.
Absolutely. Larenz is he's a small guy, but never.
Solo girl.
All right. Only how do y'all feel Larenz did with this role?
I think he did great, and I think he should have got an award for it. I feel like his lip singing was really on point.
I'm gonna ask. I got a question for that, so don't even worry about that.
Yeah, I always thought that even back then because that's the big thing for me. Like it kind of takes me out of the film. Like if your lip singing is bad, I'm like because I'm trying to not just focus on that. Even though it's just trying to focus on the movie in its entirety. But I think he did good. I always thought he did good, and I always thought he should get some type of award for the film. I think he did good, especially as we go through the relationship with these ladies and the stages that Frankie was in mentally, physically, like the transitions, like it. I think he sold it. And again, I didn't do a lot of research on Frankie Lymon, like his real, the real Frankie Lymon. I don't. Like you said, how close it is to his truth or whatever. But yeah, I think he did good.
I think he did good too. I think because of how unique Frankie Lymon was as a person, I can't really think of another grown man who could have played that role the way Larenz Tate did. It's so weird. Like I've always thought he did really good, but at the same time, I think it's hard for me to have like a super duper fully formed opinion on it, only because this is my introduction to Frankie Lymon as a person. Like, was seeing Larenz Tate play him in the first place. I didn't know who he was until I saw this movie.
Right, of course.
I'm pretty sure I had heard the music, but I had never seen what he looked like. And so the only thing, like, I do think he did great with the lip syncing, but knowing what Larenz Tate's voice sounds like, and then what Frankie Lymon sounds like, there was like a little bit of a disconnect for
A
me.
little bit. Okay.
I just have to just suspend my disbelief a little bit and just let myself believe it.
You know, Bryson Tiller is like that. I don't know if people know that, but like Bryson Tiller, his voice is much deeper than how
Mhm.
he sings. Like
Mhm.
he's singing up there, and then you hear him talk. It's like whoa, like his
Yeah.
voice is much deeper. So, um, I think Lorenz did really good. I think maybe there could be some issues of why this wasn't acknowledged by the people that are higher up, but I think he did a great job at capturing different phases of Frankie Lyman, and that's why I wanted to ask, like, where do y'all rank this on lip singing performances in movies? Because obviously we know that, and it could come up in in a later rotation of biopics. We obviously know what Angela did. You
Mm.
know, um,
It's up there.
we know
Woo!
We know Notorious. I mean, I think he might have actually rapped it. But where do y'all put this?
It's up there for me. Um,
I definitely
Angela's probably number one for me for sure with Tina. Like the veins, all like she really was. But it's up there for me. I always thought that though.
that's hard because I would have to go back and think about all of the biopics where and like think about who was really singing, who was lip syncing, who was, you know, they're so but I'll say if I had to choose like from what I can think of right now, he'd probably be top 5. But that's only from what I can like think about.
Okay, well here I'll give you a few. So Eddie Kane Jr.
Mm. Mhm.
Okay, we
Mhm.
got the James Brown movie, even though it's outside of our you know timeline, but Chadwick is rest in peace as James Brown. David Ruffin,
I didn't like that.
Mm.
got the David Ruffin. You know what I mean? Obviously the Michael Jackson, the American Dream movie. Uh, Charlie Parker, Bird, portrayed by Forrest Whitaker. I never seen that.
Never seen it.
Now I can't say James Early because Eddie Murphy actually did sing that. Uh, we got the NWA movie. I don't remember if they actually did. So
They did some and then they lip sync some.
okay, and then of course we know Jamie did Ray Charles.
Mhm.
So with that being said, would Eddie King Jr. or the James Brown get on up? You still think you still would put this over that or
No, those are not over. No.
okay?
No.
I didn't like the James Brown.
What?
I didn't like it.
Oh my God, I love Get On Up. I
It's
think
it's good. There's something about it that is it's something about it that is lacking for me, but I think Chadwick did his thing. It's just something, and it could be one of those things where like the All Eyes on Me movie, where it's like you can't really capture Tupac. Nobody can. And that might be a part of it for me with James Brown. He was, and that because I'm like, it's always like the movie's good and he's doing a great job, the accent, the whole thing, and I look at him and see James, but it's something missing. I think it might just be that James Brown is just another one of those people. It's like you can't capture James Brown. He's just too much of himself. It's like somebody trying to do. Nah, never mind. But
see, I don't know. I disagree. I think he did. Like for me personally, obviously it's all subjective. But for me, I think he did capture James Brown. I think he did a better job than I would have expected anybody to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did great. It
Yeah, he
just
did. He
didn't
did.
work for me. I don't know. But which is crazy because I mean, this was him. Like when he played Thurgood Marshall, right? I love that movie. You know,
He
obviously
really did
not
3
singing.
biopics. That's crazy.
Yeah, he did. Was it Jackie Robinson?
Yeah, 42.
Yeah,
Yep.
42.
Yeah, like, I think he did great. But this James one, he always does great recipes.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't switch over.
Mm-hmm.
Just couldn't see Chadwick as
Yeah.
James.
I think that's why I not talked about as much. I mean, like I said, they executed. I don't know. James Brown was so like, and I a few years ago, I got in my James Brown bag of like just getting into it because when I started recognizing him as an innovator, I started like looking at like, yo, what era are we in? He's doing his dance moves. He's doing his black empowerment. He's doing a lot. You know what I mean? Creating a genre. Like really, you know, people would give him the credit for creating hip hop. And so, Chadwick did his thing for everything that was like brought to him and every, you know, research. But I don't know. I think for me, it might just be one of those things. Like, it's like Will Smith for Muhammad Ali for me. It's like, okay, if you're going to do like, hey, this is not Muhammad, but this reminds us of him more so than like you're watching him like Angela Bassett and you're watching like that's Tina. And then you'd be like, oh, that's not Tina. Like, you know, that much, you know. So I think that's kind of how it was with Chadwick, and for me with that. So, lip singing, this is up there. Like,
Leon always does the same though. Leon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's always.
Everybody come to see you, Otis.
Leon is Leon.
No last name. All right. Well, let's get into it. So, Ash, where you want to go?
Just got my notes set up like with the relationships. Like as we were going through it, however y'all.
I literally just walk through the scenes and kind of like spend time with, I guess, the section.
Because I got like Frankie and the teenagers, and then Frankie goes solo, and then I kind of just go into him and Zora. Zola, and then Elizabeth. But I do have like a small section of his inner struggles, like his just Frankie alone. So yeah.
What about you?
We can go however y'all, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think with a movie like this, the way it's set up, and I always have trouble making scene for scene notes, so I have it pretty much the same because I'll put every scene.
Right, exactly.
Same as Ash with like I have the opening, like the court case, and then I have Frankie and the teenagers, or Frankie Rise to Fame, Frankie and Zola, Frankie and Mickey, Frankie and his drug addiction and career, and then Frankie in the military with Amira.
Okay. All right, so let's do it like this then. Let's go Frankie and the teenagers. And let's just kind of work the relationship angle of it. So Frankie and the teenagers, we find out in the movie that they were portrayed as a Latin group. And I think it was 3 black dudes, 2 Latin guys. And I think Frankie co-wrote with the leader, or he co-wrote, and the leader ends up getting sick. So Frankie was like, let me do it. I know all the lines and stuff. And that ends up, you know, obviously this is old school back in the 50s. They're singing outside of a notable
Berry Gordy, right?
Was that Berry Gordy?
They said Berry. So I was assuming.
You might be right. I didn't even put that together.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm about to say if that's Berry Gordy. Look.
You can fact check, but yeah.
What are we? No.
But so they end up getting on with Barry, and Barry pretty much, you know, he playing the keys.
Oh, are you talking about? Okay, his name was Richard Barrett, but they called him Barry.
Oh, okay.
He was their manager and producer.
Okay. So they get on with him, and you know, pretty much like I said, they promote this Latin group. They're trying to find their angle to get in. And it's interesting because in the movie, we almost get 15 minutes into the movie before we really get the introduction of what would be the main character, Frankie Lymon, which is an interesting style of storytelling. But so what do y'all think about this whole dynamic with them singing? You know, I know there's a thing that people talk about with the Bobby Shmurda rapping for the executives on top of a desk, and people look down on it. But it all started way back in these times, like 50s. They got the drip on. They're singing for, you know, the slimy dude that's going to obviously put them on. But, you know, again, this is why the lip sync is so good. He's clapping. He's all snapping. Like hey, I don't know, bro. Top 5 for sure. Cause like he's getting into it. Like you would think he's like singing because he's getting into it. Like doing all of the like happy 50s gestures. Like, you know what I mean? Like that real singing like a bird type vibes. Like the whole, like all that, like super happy, super gay, you know? And I mean gay in the sense of happy.
Like you're irritating.
Hey, hit you with it.
Not the like
he was selling it. Like
that's what I'm saying, bro. Like it's
hey,
like
man, he was Frankie Lymon.
He was Frankie.
Listen, I loved being in that setting, like you said, them singing outside of his apartment, like his window, and then he finally like how long they had been doing that for he finally was like, hey, come on, let's go see what y'all got. You know what I mean? But in the day, like you said, just trying to get seen by the right person at the right time. But them as a group, and obviously you could tell they grew up together, had a nice brotherhood. Mm-hmm. And like you did say, you wouldn't have known that Frankie wasn't the main character because he was in a group and he wasn't even the lead of that group.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just so young and hungry. But the fact that if he was 14 or whatever, that like they're writing so young, you know what I mean? Kudos to them too. Of course, Morris is a slime ball.
For sure.
Yeah, they impressed them. And that makes me think too, like, well, I don't have to think, you're right, because now I'm thinking about the performances even after, like, Frankie was in the lead from here on out. And so I wonder how, I can't remember the lead Hispanic guy's name. I wonder how he felt because he just happened to be sick that day. You know what I mean?
He was straight with it because they grew up together, you know.
Yeah.
But so what was like beginning to, at least what the movie's trying to do as far as planting the seeds, when they get the deal, they go on tour with Zola and I didn't remember what was the guys' names that she was with. Zola and the guys or whatever. We're gonna call it that for now. I'm sure it'll come up.
It was with a P, wasn't it? It wasn't the Patterson.
So she ended up doing her own thing. That's why I'm like, I kind of got it murky, but when they end up going on tour and then they're at the restaurant and stuff, and then the waiter recognizing, and she's sitting there just saying, she was like, "Oh, you're Frankie Lymon. It's Frankie Lymon," and she's like doubled down, tripled down. I can't believe it's Frankie Lymon. Like, and everybody else is there. It's like bro, they ain't saying and the teenagers. Like it's literally like ain't nobody come to see you, Otis. Like, and that's where you could see, you know, Spanish Poppy getting upset. Like, I was the lead originally, and I was cool with stepping back because that's what's gonna get us out of poverty, get us out of off these blocks. But like y'all not even acknowledging us, and so I think he could still live with it until we get a later section of, you know, him, you know, going solo and like in the slime ball manager or producer. What is his title?
He was a record executive.
Oh, the executive. Okay. But like him just like doing a hard cut on them like that. As a kid, I didn't understand this scene like quite fully, and like watching it now, like bro, I felt Spanish Poppy, like, cause I was just like, it's just like, damn, bro, like we was in this together, we grew up together, and like this is how you gonna do us, like, and we gotta go back to the block, you know what I'm saying? And like pretty much you gonna keep going, and yeah, it's crazy, like just and the teenagers, like he was the Beyonce before Beyonce. Anything else y'all want to speak to as far as the group dynamic, the touring of it all, the restaurant scene. Obviously, Little Richard's in there. We can obviously talk a little bit about that, but and like the dismantle of that, and obviously that'll once we get to it, that'll tie us into Zola because of what happened on the night of them getting the reveal that he's going solo.
I should say that to set the scene, because we didn't talk about like the opening, which even led us into Frankie and the teenagers. And so Morris, the sleazeball, the greasy record executive, basically took all of his, like, he took credit for the publishing for all of Frankie's music. And that started with the teenagers. And so Diana Ross actually remade the song Why Do Fools Fall in Love. It became super popular, and one of his widows was like, I should be getting some publishing money for this. So I'm gonna take Morris to court to get my cut of the royalties. And then we find out he had 3 widows. So after that, after the teenagers, or while he's on tour with the teenagers, he meets Zola. And hold on, when you just said where you wanted to go next to take us into how he met Zola, which
Oh yeah, so I was saying that just speaking to him with the teenagers and the group dynamic before he goes solo, anything, because after that we'll go into like kind of the Zola thing, and then we'll start going with Zola, Liz, Amira, and then we'll obviously get into the in between minutia of him. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't have anything else about the group or him going solo.
He did get whooped though. I did have.
He took the L?
I think he took the L.
Yeah.
And he initiated the physical altercation. You took the L, like, and it was warranted. So those are kind of the best ones. Like,
yeah,
took the L, and you needed that because you talking to me like I ain't who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is always realistic but tricky when you get in these positions where, like, you're the chosen one, and like you feel bad for having to leave people behind. I mean, it's always this thing where in film and even in real life, I feel like people do this, and we talked about it recently on our Break It Bad podcast, where like you're trying to make yourself feel worse than you actually feel. Like, you feel bad because these are your guys, but you don't feel that bad because you knew this 2 months ago. Like, and that's the realization that it be like sometimes. It's like,
I'm laughing because I forget, like, a little bit after he said he knew too much. I'm shooting the bell to tell. I'm like, because he like, sister. I was like, yeah, Morris is, I don't know what I was saying, but and then like a few minutes later, he said he was right. I knew too much.
Right. Yeah,
I was like,
he was right.
He did. I was trying to shoot him some bell, like I was at the load. I'm like, I couldn't remember he said it, but which is even crazy.
Yeah.
If it's done properly, it's gonna sting anyway, because it's like it just sucks. You're not the chosen one, but it's like if these could be done properly, this dissolvement, like maybe we brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like he already, even in the diner talking to Zola and talking about his dad and his drinking problem and him leaving the family. I just have that in to tie all that back later. And then we didn't hear much about his mother or how that, with that whole thing. We just heard that Pops left and he was doing drugs. He was like a bum.
Yeah.
But so this group was his, essentially his family. And they're young, so he lacks maturity, and the group grounded him, accountability.
Yeah,
so now there's zero guidance, as he's growing up in front of the world. But yeah.
Not to mention that performance they did on stage where like Frankie was taking it all the way up. Like,
yes,
he forgot he was that might have been 2 months ago. Like that might have been the moment to say, yeah, you going solo. This man did the splits 3 times. He all in the videos. Like he is all the way in there on the performance. Um I don't think they didn't perform. I was about to say did they perform at the other spot, but I think that was Frankie solo. But yeah, in the midst of that, like you kind of see the writing on the wall. Frankie's going solo, and he knew 2 months prior. And then we also see Zola Taylor, and
The Platters, that was the name of her
the
group.
Platters. Ash had to pee. All right, keeping the pee.
I got the pee.
Yeah, the Platters. Man, what kind of name was that? No wonder you mad. I was just but so he been trying to pursue Zola, for a little bit, and then finally, after going solo that night, she pretty much, gives in, and they, have a lot of jazz and justice. For jazz and justice, and but before that, I know you kind of going back a little bit, Mia. I'll lay it out here. All 3 of them have a different perspective on Frankie, and we get that as like the opening scene. And shout out to the writers, because I think this is a great angle to write a character this complex, to write from the life of a person, a man this complex, to do it this way. Like, this is the way we're going to tell all of these different things about him. It's through the court case, through these 3 women, through the people that were connected with Frankie. And since we're talking about Zola's whole thing was he was a star. Like, when he hit the stage, she never seen nothing like that. Obviously, there's a scene when he was with the teenagers where she's seen that she was getting choked up a little bit, like just like at his abilities. Like, he really wooed her by his skills and things like that, which was obviously a mental note before we get to the, obviously the part of them getting intimate and everything like that. But yeah, we get a lot of ups and downs with Zola and Frankie. And I do got a question, but I'll wait till we kind of get into the other women or the other widows of Frankie. But this section, we can kind of cover different things about the dynamic between Zola and Frankie. So where
Okay. So Zola, she comes off as like a very classy, polished, almost like etiquette trained performer. She's the only woman in her group, and so she already has to carry herself a certain way, but she's not like prissy like Amira, in the sense that like she can hold her own. Like, we see Zola ain't no, she ain't no punk bitch. She come in and instantly she's on that, especially with her and Elizabeth, Mickey, because they know each other already, as we see later, and they already on site. So, but it seems like Frankie is kind of her weakness, like her weak spot. She's got all this going for her, so she's about her business. Even like later on in their relationship, once they had broken up and gotten back together, he had been on the drugs, he had been away, he comes back to her. She's got this big, beautiful house that's her prized possession. No reason why she should trust him to stay in her house by himself while she's on tour, but she trusts him. And it's like she has like a weakness for him, and it's like her blind spot and almost her downfall, which, luckily wasn't, but he did take her up through there quite a bit, as he did with all the women, it seems. But I think Zola was a very interesting character to me, because you could tell she was a little bit torn down by the industry. Like, she had seen a lot, been through a lot. She was still very, much that girl, but tired from the madness,
Yeah, I mean, Mia said a lot of it. Like, I mean, she was experienced, very confident, but like you said, not like for her to be the only woman. It was a lot of dudes in the group too. It was about what, at least five or six.
Four or five.
I feel like it was quite a bit. Yeah, they were drawn to each other. I think she liked that Frankie, like this was all new to him, right? She was already established, so that it's already a uneven dynamic, right? She's established. He's yearning for that. He's looking at her in awe, like she's beautiful. He's like, obviously, when they got intimate, he over here like he's trying to take off everything so fast, like probably was a virgin. You know what I mean? Like he's just so ready.
14 years old.
Listen, but he's just so excited. It's like she's just laughing because this ain't nothing to me, but just chill. Thank you. Just chill.
Yeah.
Take your time with me, babe. But just take your time. Because it's gonna be a wrap. But anyway, Frankie's inexperienced, he's excited. Zola's mature, stable, beautiful home. But I think it all came back to how familiar she was to him, like even when he doubled back, you know what I mean? It's tying to the music and when he was with he met her in that space. So that's like some of his best memories before he went solo and it just went crazy for like the music and being on stage and
that's probably his first love. I would say that was his first love.
I would agree. And go ahead, man. I didn't have too much to say, too much more to say. Mia kind of said everything, and then I said my vote.
Oh, there's still more. There's definitely more.
So we're just summing Zola and them up.
Oh yeah.
Once we're done with Zola and Frankie,
I mean, once you get to the end, you kind of bring all of them together. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. We could get all the way into like the Zola.
Well, you seem like you have some things, Mo.
I do, but I ain't tripping because I love this is I feel like I love that this is very women driven, and I love to see them get it off when a dude is like and based on the movie, I don't know the guy from his time on Earth, but based on the movie, it's like they all kind of got this idea that he was a slime ball, but there were good parts. And one of my favorite quotes is from The Sopranos, where he on the end of the finale of season 1, he's eating with his family. This is after he at war, beefing, and the war pretty much he won. And at the end of it, he's sitting down at Vesuvio's. It's storming bad. They really ain't at the crib. They ain't got food like that. They just at one of his homeboys' place, and he's having a dinner with his family. He says, "Hey, I want y'all to remember times like these." That were good, because he understands how much bad goes until he's a mafia boss. And so I look at this movie and I look at these women's perspective, and like that's what brought them together. Of course, they're here to get some payback because he did them all dirtball. But there is these moments where they all had some deep rooted love for him, and this movie is the definition of two things can be true. You know what I mean? It's like Frankie can love you. Frankie can garden. Frankie can, you know what I mean?
Well, Frankie didn't have guidance. Remember, if he's 14 and we're getting all the way to him joining the military and passing to 25, he's on the job training. Like I don't think he was a slime ball. I think he just was growing up too fast. I mean, he was put out there before he was ready, and then there's no guidance. You don't have any PR team. Like this is straight raw and uncut. You probably took some things from Zola, because she's experienced. So, but
you're right. But here's the pushback. This is why he was a slime ball.
Oh, he stole that mink though, but.
You stole the mink,
but he was on drugs.
You dropped the dog.
He was
you had the house abandoned, and you were sober then.
he
Was
took that check and we know what he did with that check.
We know, but still, I'm just saying you're right. He lack of guidance, inexperience in some things. Like so, you though there's reasons, there's context how you got there as far as you wasn't ready to be a man yet, and that I understand. Don't take away from again two things. This movie is a definition of two things to be true. It's slime ball. Like why yeah you're on drugs, but why is this the threat to get your money to get your next hit is to put the dog out the window.
Well, she was saying some triggering things for him. And again, I'm not shooting bail for Frankie. Let's be clear.
Yeah, no. We just like observing the whole thing. What was she saying right before that?
She said, I mean, I got that down in the later section, but like,
okay.
Remember she was out there tricking and he coming in about
okay.
He wanted to go back with
right.
Zola and
okay.
She just was baffled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Elizabeth.
Hey, Liz, man. Hey, hold on. We'll look back here because I see where we're about to go.
She had it the worst out of everybody.
Okay,
absolutely.
Hold on, because I can see where it's going. Let's finish out Zola and him. So there's the moment he tries to get with her. He's still on drugs. He she pretty much like, bro, this can't work. I'm engaged. I'm married. And she still, and you know what I thought? I thought that Zola probably, and this is just my observation of the movie, I felt like she might have like this kind of savior complex. Like maybe she liked a little bit of a damaged man for whatever reason. We don't get a lot of her like origin because it ain't really about her. But like that's how I felt. And something about him was special. Something ringed off to her with Frankie. Because the way she talked about him, even after all these years, in the opening scene of the opening conversation that all three of them had, she still was looking at him like when he was on that stage, she looked at him like he's Mike. You know what I mean? Before Mike, you know what I'm saying? Like he's that dude. I'm looking at greatness. When he's not on that other stuff, I'm looking at greatness and I'm at awe of him. I'm a fan of him and I love him. And so but there's a scene. And I'm gonna let y'all go react. There's a scene when Frankie comes back, and obviously we'll talk about Liz, but like when Frankie comes back and she says, hey, I ain't saying all this and that, and we find out she's divorced, but I got some gigs lined up for you. He gets the gig on I don't even know what the show is called, some weird name, but it's like the little white backdrop
ABC
with
stuff.
Yeah, some ABC stuff, like definitely the white audience, and he gets up there, he kills, and oh, okay. Okay. And so he loves that, and he's having this deep moment with her on the balcony on the pool, and he's telling her about like all of the things. He's like, man, it felt so good when they loving you on stage. It just feels good that you're wanted. You feel like you got purpose. But then he was like, but all that went away, and he's like, and he was like, man, that shit was hurtful. Like that shit hurts. And you try to go to drugs, you try to go to alcohol, and it was a really great moment and a great because you think he's like so uplifted, he's gonna be in bliss, but because he was sober in that moment, it came to this realization like, bro, this is hard, and I really respected and loved that, especially with this movie. At that point, they were getting into the '60s, and obviously, when he comes to Hollywood, put the glasses on, hey, we black now, we ain't colored, and then we see kind of dynamic they're getting together. He's like, let's get married and all of this. And, eventually we know she goes off the tour. But like, y'all, what do y'all want to say about like kind of that dynamic of their relationship? Like when we get to this older version of Frankie with Zola, and now she's like a big dog, and he's hesitant about her entrusting him, so.
I think he knew himself. I think that he knew that him being left alone with his vices and without having a lot of work, coming up for him, that he was going to backslide, which is why he didn't trust himself to stay, in her house while she was gone for that long. Frankie, the whole reason why, like, coming into this, he had 3 wives. He had a huge codependency issue. He could not be left alone. He couldn't be by himself. Like, he needed somebody there all the time. And as soon as, Zola wasn't there, he instantly fell back into his old
Mhm.
ways. But I also feel like Zola represented what he wanted. Like she was living the dream that he was supposed to live. They were supposed to live it together, which is why there's
Right.
a moment when he sees her on the TV when he's having that argument with Liz later
Mhm.
on, and you can see in his face, he's just like, it hits him. And then right before he ODs at the end, he goes and sees Zola in concert. She's on stage and he's in the back of the, concert, and he walks out before he meets his demise. It's because she made it and he didn't. And
Mhm.
he wanted that. And she represented that for him. That's why he went back to her. That's why every time
Mhm.
he saw her, it triggered something in him
Yeah.
because he couldn't escape his vices to get to where she was. And she just kept going on without him. And he felt like he needed her to get there. He couldn't do it without her, but she could do it without him.
Yeah.
Um,
And that may have been something I would have liked to see more of, uh, like after he went solo. That's not in the later section or anything, but and the
what?
movie's already pretty long as is now. But so I mean, I appreciate for what it is, but maybe that would have been something nice to kind of not when he got older, but like kind of right after the solo, and you know what I mean? Because Zola said she started seeing him less and less on the road, so it's like what kind of was pulling him from, you know what I mean?
Because we don't even really see how he started the drugs. We just know that he ends up
Right.
but so
Exactly.
she keeps on the straight and narrow. He goes left, she makes it, he doesn't.
Right.
That tears him up. Like she represents this life that he was supposed to have and he didn't get there. So, the sight of her is triggering, but
Yeah,
you
Hmm.
that is. Y'all said that perfectly because I'm gonna ask later, like like who was his true love, you know what I mean, and then also on the flip side, like who really was right, you know what I mean. But that is perfect when you say, because when we do get to his demise later in the film, like that comes off the heels of seeing Zola. It's Zola is this representation of, I think she kind of serves as like an angelic figure in this movie. I'm not saying in real life, but in this movie, because when he sees her, it's like, long as I can get in touch with her, I can be saved. I can be helped. I still got a foot in the industry if I could be connected. But when you figured out that she's fully done with you, then it changes things, and it's tough. And it's really tough because it's like, that is like one of my, not my fears, but one of the things that I think about a lot. Is like, if you get the big opportunity, don't jackball it, bruh. All of us are always yearning for, like, man, if I could just this, if I could just get this, if I could just, and when that opportunity comes, that's my whole thing, is do not F this up. And,
Yeah.
we obviously seen that he did, because she was saying, this is our money, but it was deeper than rap at that point. It wasn't, his intention, I would say, I don't ever believe his intention was to finesse any of these women. I would say that in this film. I think
Yeah. I
he
don't think
just,
so.
he has some deeper, like I said, lack of leadership, deeper core issues. And of course, this is the 50s, one of the 60s. There was no mental health discourse. There was no full like addict. Like, this is what we did. Like, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so that's Zola. Is that everything I want to speak to as far as Frankie and Zola?
Yep.
Hmm.
Okay. Frankie and Liz. So,
It's crazy.
yeah, man. So Liz, she opens up. Hey, yo, he was getting to it on that teenager scene. I'm sorry. We was on stage. He was like he was all up
Yeah.
in there. He was getting in there, boy.
And he was hitting them splits.
And that's what I'm saying. He was getting to it, man. Like, that's why I was like, bro, this
Hmm.
is really good from Larenz. But
Yes.
Frankie and Liz, the opening scene, she's like he's a junkie. You know what I mean? And she's talking about him having so many, tracks on his arm. I thought it was a pincushion, a cute pincushion.
Yeah,
And
that was crazy.
it was. And once we start getting her story about him, we see that they do an interesting thing about the timeline, because now he's older, but they don't explicitly say it. Catches her at the jewelry store. Is that what it was?
She
She was
was
at the mall, wasn't she?
Like a
department
mall.
store, like a Macy's sort of.
Oh, like yeah. Okay, that tracks. And he pretty much gets her out of a jam. Now, my question to y'all is, how intentional was this for Frankie? Because the more I watched this and thought about it, and I didn't even realize too, like the apartment, that's not the good storytelling, because the apartment was Zola's apartment.
Right. They
So
did a lot of intertwining.
that's what I'm saying, like, which
it.
was
So
great.
good.
I'm like, when you really watch, I'm like, yo, this is really good, because she's like, this your apartment? This is no, and you thinking she down in it, but now I'm looking at it and like, oh, maybe she's not down in it. She's just looking at it like, this don't feel like you. I don't know you like that, but like you got pink walls, you know what I mean? So
it was dirty. It was
he had let it go to crap, like
right.
because he was on that stuff. So she looking like, this how you live it.
Mm-hmm.
But do y'all think there was an intentionalness about him when he pursued her in the mall, in a sense that I see this really beautiful girl, she's in the jam, I know she don't know me, she may not know, she definitely got to be a roundaway girl type thing, like she's stealing stuff, so obviously I can have the upper hand, I can be valued in her eyes, I could be that dude. Like, I don't know how intentional it was, but there's a little piece of me that feels like there's a possibility for that. But I wanted to see what y'all thought as women.
I didn't get that personally. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't think about it.
I didn't think about it, but I could see where you would get that. Like, because in a way, I felt like Frankie had a woman for each phase of his life. Like wherever he was at in life, however he felt about himself in that period, that's kind of what the reflection of the woman he was with was like. And he was already on drugs. He met Mickey Liz while she was, shoplifting.
Yeah.
So she down and out, I'm down and out. We about to be down and out together. But she wasn't as down and out as she was gonna be. She should have just put that perfume back and left the store. But
well, Frankie pulling out the stolen goods in the middle of the store was crazy.
Girl,
like, dude, get my pocket, sir.
Oh boy, like
that was. I had to put that in my notes. So I'm like, dude, we're not even like out of the danger zone. And you pulling out some the baby, like, chill. But obviously, Frankie needed constant validation, whether it was from fans, people that knew him from singing, or the women in his life. He needed constant validation. And that's why I feel like he was, identity issue.
Yeah.
Like growing up on his own in the streets, just trying to figure it out himself. And I'm sure he made some money and stuff like that. He needed constant validation.
And the people, he wasn't around the teenagers no more. So
right.
The people that lifted you up, that lifted you up, that made you feel good, feel belonging, feel acceptance, that was gone. And then when your career is kind of going off track, which we'll get into a later scene with the record exec, but like when your career is going off track, like you're sliding downhill, it's like the fame was the drug initially until like it starts slowing down and people don't know who you are. And we'll even see that when we get to the Elmira era of Frankie, where it's like, that really triggers something. So it's like when you see that and you see a woman like that and, you're looking at and you say, hey, you should come to one of my shows. And now, they go to the show and Frankie get into it, but his whole style is kind of different now. And he's like at the predominantly black spots. So that is another adage to say, oh, you've dropped. because, and again, this is the 50s, 60s, where it's like, oh, you at the white spots, so you're successful, you're on. But now you're at the black spots. You're
Which I
unbuttoning.
can appreciate.
No,
I mean, thank you.
we're in a different era. We're in a different era now, so there's a different pride.
Right.
And again, this is, you got to remember, this is before, because we remember when Zola says, like, when he comes back to Cali, she tells him, like, hey, we ain't colored no more, we black. You know, okay, I could dig it, baby. Put the shades on, but like, they're still at that. So seeing him unbutton the shirt, and it's even crazy that triggered her. Like, Frankie would never have his shirt open, like, because she had a different idea of Frankie.
Well, she had a different experience with him too. You know what I mean? Because that lapse where they weren't together, he had a. Yeah, you cool?
Yeah, sorry, I had a little something. I feel like my mascara is going in my eye.
Oh, okay. I was like, make sure everything's all right. But no, like that lapse, like that's what I'm saying. I think these were their experiences with that version of Frankie. Like, I think what Elizabeth is expressing is how he was when he was with her. Like, it looked foreign to Zola because Zola caught him at a different time. And then Amira and the gardening and all that, they like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like he was just different. Frankie's at different points. You know, again, that struggle of trying to get clean and then you going back, then you trying to, you know what I mean? You still want to be known for, you know, Frankie Lymon, like, so any chance you get. But yeah, so he links up with her. They go to the, you know, like you said, the performance. He got his shirt open. You could tell the hair is stressed.
Yeah,
like
the hair is definitely stressed.
You know, you could tell what kind of stage he was in by that hair. You know, he definitely was, you know, going through some things for sure. And you know, they go back to the crib.
I mean, shout out to Vivica, man. This is
Vivica.
She don't get a lot of credit, but she was absolutely gorgeous. She had a really good era of like just being one of those, and she had that kind of girl next door look to her too. You know, her own style of beauty, and she obviously she's from the city Nap or whatever, but like, she don't get brought up a lot, but like she was just gorgeous and good in her craft, you know. So I want to acknowledge that here, because I'm sure we'll eventually get to Tuka play that game at some point. You know, in other movies that she's been in, but I mean, we did Soul Food, but yeah, she's just gorgeous, and yeah, so I just wanted to bring that up. But like, yeah, he was in his bag, and she was in awe. Like, this man had the shirt button, he's like doing it, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't quit flapping your arms,
it's like they was all geeked and they doing the whole back and forth, and I mean, again, I was singing that song too. I mean, he was killing it. Like, that's what I'm saying. If he was still in his writing bag, like, I don't see, like, why did the career go left? Like, what happened? Like, but again, we don't get that. Like, what happened to get you to the drugs?
That's what I want to see. I want to see, like, his, like, because, you know, like, in certain great biopics that we've seen, you see the first hit of the drug. See it take a hold of these people, and you know when they got started and how it spiraled. With this one, we don't get to see him start taking drugs. He goes from being a teenager, a grown man who's on drugs, and we know that that's ultimately his demise. Like, we don't get to see like where it came from. We literally just see him in these 3 stages of life with these 3 women. In different places, but we don't see any connective tissue between each phase of life because it's from 3 different perspectives. But like Liz, I just want to say, the way her character is portrayed, like as the older version, cracks me. She is funny. Like, her comedy chops.
Oh yeah.
Oh, fire.
Ridiculous. She was so ridiculous as this, like the way she ate.
Oh man.
Like smoking her cigarette. She was just so funny.
Absolutely.
But then, like, you could see life took and turned her every which way but loose after she met Frankie, and he took her up through there in the worst way possible. Like,
Oh yeah.
went through more than any of them. Like, yeah, Zola lost her house, but Liz was out there selling her cookies and milk to the people
Through the mail.
to
Pay the
try
hospital bill.
keep him in the hospital to get clean. He checked himself out of the hospital.
Turtleneck.
You're wild. But I do want to talk about, again, she was with it. She's like, you're crazy. When Elizabeth and Frankie got back to Zola's crib, because we know it's Zola's crib, like, they get into it and she sees the marks on the arm and she's still with it. Like, she's still with it. So again, all of these ladies, you saw the red flag, you went right. So it's just like, it cracks me up because it's a real thing. It happens. Ignoring these flags and continuing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to it. Had the rain, you know what I mean? The rain on me on the windshield. And
yeah. It spoke to, like, that's how you could tell there was a again, they wasn't discreet in the aging up, but there's these moments. Like, we see his first experience with Zola and we see how giddy he is and how happy. She's like, hey, slow down, unzip the back first. She got to coach him through it. You see this, and like, he's been out there a little bit more. Now you're getting a lot of jazz, you know what I'm saying? A lot of justice in the cinematography, and it's really good. It's really good. Like, as far as that goes, and I don't know if it's so much of how it's written versus how it's played, because there's something about Vivica playing Liz that I just feel her so much more than the other two. And it ain't that
it was raw. It's like,
it was so, I mean, maybe it's just more relatable. Like, it's like we know this woman. She's not in the industry. She's in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? She's the home girl. She's down. She ain't perfect, but she try to do the right thing. For at least she try to, have the thing she's doing is for a bigger cause. Like, okay, I might stole this, but I'm just trying to provide for my kids type thing. Or I'm trying to, get, whatever. Like, you feel like this woman, and they moving the stuff, and Frankie ain't around. They end up moving in together, and we see he's down bad. The drug dealers is on him. Like, it was just hilarious. It was a hilarious scene to me in a subtle way, because it's like we in the 60s and there's these drug dealers, and they look like 90s 2000 drug dealers until you see the perm in their head. that's how I'm like, yo, that's hilarious, bro. Like, you thugs with a perm in your head. Not to say that was this, because I mean, it happens. But
hiding the rent money, and
yeah,
it's due tomorrow. You talking about, I'm gonna get it back to you on time?
Frankie, like, come on, Frankie.
It's already like 11:30 p.m. Like, what you finna go do? Like, and then you angry too. Like, she trying to like cook up some pork chops, trying to get the dinner going. Like, the grease is old. Like, just really trying to get a meal going, and you coming in like, I need some money. You digging in her purse, like, she was doing a lot.
Yeah, you got no like shame at all.
Saying a lot.
Right. And a good job to the makeup team, because he looked down bad at this scene. Like, Larenz don't even look like Larenz right here, bro. Like, he looked like something else, boy. What is a ragga wolf? Well, I forgot what the term is, but like bugger wolf. Like, he looking tough.
Not too much.
Nah,
girl,
pull it up and watch it again, bro. Because I'm looking at it now and I'm like, bruh, he is.
He was, but I'm just saying, let's chill.
Girl, he looked hot.
Bro, I'm telling you, I'm like, I get it. He's a good looking dude, but at this moment, come on, bro. They did their job, because his eyes was pussy. He had the shadow around the mouth, like he was going through it. I know that money around here, I know. And so they end up, robbing him, and like she like, what got me was like, you're an around the way girl, but like you see them coming and you're still like, Frankie, what's going on? You know good and dang on well. You run first, ask questions later. That's the black motto. That's one of the black mottos. And so that was like, come on, but I get it. It's the 60s, so whatever. But he sees Zola on the TV. This is, I said, this is why this movie's great storytelling. Because he's going through it looking for the money. It's great storytelling. And he's like, you know what, I'm out. Because he still feels I'm there still. And that's the reminder, like, you're like, I don't need you in this. But again, they come in, and there was this interesting scene, and I wanted to get y'all take on it. They come in, she ended up giving them the rent money, and obviously they put them out. And she gives them the mink. And when she's holding them and stuff, and he's like, well, why did you give him the mink? That was a gift. I gave it to you. Like, what did y'all think about that? Because this was like one of the most fascinating scenes of this movie for me. And for the weirdest reason, I was like, huh.
I low-key feel like he stole that from Zola, but that's just...
He did. He stole it.
That's all I really took from like him, like the whole mink thing. I was like, oh, he stole that. But what was the thing that you thought about this, Mo? Because I'm really curious to know.
Oh, yeah, it was just he's high. He's high. No, he's high all the time. We know that. But it was this. It's this, and again, like I said, he stole it. He didn't get that on the right in the right terms. But there was this thing of, I'm okay with taking our rent money. I'm okay with going through your purse in this weird way. But like, this is for you. I would never give this up, even though he stole it. So it was just this interesting character. Like, just for me, it was an interesting character development. I said, okay. I'm like, where's Frankie coming from? He's like, nah, babe. You should have gave him the mink, because even though he's high, there's these moments still where he's like, I'm gonna give you the world and this and that. There's these moments. And so it was just one of the most interesting things to me for some reason with a movie like this. It's like, I don't know if they intended to make it a big deal or some like low key thing, but it stood out to me like crazy. I'm like, why would he be so concerned about that? More than anything, so, but yeah.
Good observation there, bro.
So, they end up eventually getting they go to Philadelphia, right?
Yeah, to stay with her mom.
Stay with her mom, and they get married. And like, you ain't changed your mind, did you? And it's like, nah. And
red flag, still ignoring.
Yeah, Frankie go out there and yeah, whoa, yeah, and that.
Whoa.
Hey, listen.
pretty one. Hey, listen. Hey, and the song was gonna be fire. Again, these songs be ready to be some bangers.
Listen, if when the high kick in ever was a meme, this would be the meme.
Yeah,
because you start off good, like you feel a good day. It like hits you like, whoa, this is the definition.
You start clearing that throat.
Well, you got whoa, yeah, you got cotton mouth now. Like that's how it works. So, but yeah, so he ends up falling out or whatever. And the craziest thing is the label exec guy. He's like, man, I'm dropping Frankie. As Frankie literally is dropping.
Didn't even care, right? I'm like, dang, like,
and if you should too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But eventually, after all that happens, she decides to go out there and pretty much put it all on the line to try to keep their marriage alive, to keep them being able to do what they need to do. And they get into a real argument, and she was right. And he was trying to make a point with the dog, like to get his point across, because he ain't had no leverage at this point. He was a junkie. He was a has-been. He wasn't a good man. And who knows? I mean, she still loved him. I won't say she didn't love him, but like, you're getting to a place where she's not about to even love you, and you're doing this, and you're like still in the midst of your high. And as that happens, obviously the dog bites his hand and drops the dog, and that's the end. Mia, you have is it singular? You have a dog or you have multiples?
I just have one.
Okay. Seeing this scene, how did it hit you on this one?
So obviously, she was very, very attached to her dog. She like took my dog. I am very attached to him. That's my baby. That's my fur child.
Oh
But
goodness gracious.
but he's small, but he's not like small enough for me to like carry and take around with me. And it didn't seem like she had custody of her daughter or she had her daughter with her. So that probably was like all she had. Now, I know how I would feel if somebody like killed my dog, dropped my dog out of a window. Like I would be devastated. Like, and I would definitely like it's over. Where you're there, leave like get out of my life. I'll never want to speak to you again. You're done. But to know like that was all she had. That was the thing that she had to love, who loved her back, and you killed
Mhm.
like that. It's just unforgivable. Like you have to go because you're a monster. Like this dog ain't did nothing to you. Why would you hold my dog out the window in the rain?
Mm-mm.
Like even if he nipped at you as he should because you're holding him out the window and you dropped the dog
Exactly.
and now he dead. Like why would you even think to do that? Like you're a monster.
Bro said he had no leverage, and he knew that was the closest thing to her. He like, yeah, but that was just crazy. That was, of course, I'm gonna bite your hand. Like you said, like, I'm uncomfortable. You
And
got
I'm
me out here
begging. Like she on her hands and knees begging, please, like just stop playing with my dog.
laughing, and you like, get up. I ain't finna. All right, all right.
Moment of transparency. This moment, it choked me up. I was really close. I'm not the biggest like I don't have any pets. I'm not the biggest animal lover, but I do love animals in the sense that I think it's beautiful that God created all of these different creatures on this earth to coexist with us. But it choked me up because of the scene of how she was and like how like messed up she was, and she was like, "Get off of me!" Like it's like because she had done so much, and he had like my heart just goes out to women when I see like women that go through this depth of toxicity with a man, like really having holding out the hope, holding out the possibilities, the uh potential,
Potential.
holding out with a man like that, and it's just like in the midst of you doing that because of your belief, this man is dragging you down and he's taking everything from you. Even if you didn't have much, I had to lean the head back. Like I seen this scene, I had to lean the head back because that hurt. And the Zola scene about the house, it hit me, but this hit more
Yeah.
because it was like shameless plug. Go check out our Jason's lyric episode. But the scene where the brother was like, "I ain't got she take you away from me, man. I ain't got nothing," and that's how I felt about Liz. I'm like, she like, bro, I ain't got nothing. Like I'm selling coochie through the mail just to make sure you're okay, like to keep us afloat. It was staying with my mom's, and you still don't care. And then now you didn't got rid of my dog, and and then the court scene, they asked for the recess, and just seeing that scene, I was just like, dang. And tying that back into the Zola scene when Zola talked about that coming back and seeing her house abandoned like that, and her getting emotional, and Liz coming in the bathroom and say, I promise you, I never went back up there." And I thought that was just a beautiful moment because you start to see that, Frankie was their downfall as well as his own downfall, and obviously we know it's like, father being the way it is. We don't hear much about the mother, not having people that care about you, no mentorship, no leadership. Anything else y'all want to share about the Liz and Frankie plot?
I just have them in the cafeteria during the recess in court.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like those moments, like that moment specifically with Liz's dog, I think that touched Zola and it like humanized her for her the way that the house humanized her
Mm-hmm.
for Mickey, Liz. And I think they found like a common some commonality with each other, like a they were like, you know what? You're not the problem. I'm not the
Yeah, we're not. We think we're not each other's enemies.
He did this to both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we spent all these years like hating each other when really like we're victims. Like we're both victims here.
Facts.
And I gotta say, the whole thing with Mickey, Liz, she got all the money.
Either way, whatever you want to call her.
It hit so hard. Like I'm not gonna tell.
Not to be anecdotal.
I'm not gonna get too anecdotal. Shout out to Ray P.
Shout out to Ray
at the Culture Garden. Addiction has touched my family in a way that is very similar, like ways to how it affected Mickey in this situation. Like, I'm sure that the person who was affected the most in this situation, if she wants to share, because she be watching, if she wants to share in the comments, then I'll leave that for her to do because I'm, it's
yeah
not my place to tell. I mean, I can because it affected me too, but it's just like I've seen how loving someone with an addiction can affect a woman in a way very similar, like losing everything because you love somebody who has an addiction problem. And so I'll always have like I all the stories have their own heart, but that one will always just hit a little different for me.
What you talking about in this movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Mickey's story
okay.
with Frankie always hits a little different.
It always does. It's again, it's so hard because it's like it's based on true events, but it's also like I'm always like, is it how well it's written or is it how Vivica's playing it? You know what I mean? Or maybe it's just both. Anything.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say Vivica. She brings a humanity to it.
She does.
Realness.
And she was, shout out to her, she was in a 90210 episode that was supposed to serve as a backdoor pilot for like kind of the black version of 90210, but it never happened. They didn't get behind it. You know how that go. But if anybody's interested in that, seeing her in the 90210 universe, Beverly Hills, the episode's called Ashes to Ashes. So yeah. Ash, anything else you want to speak to in regards to their story?
Nope.
Okay. So then we get the last widow, which is the most widow, which is the most recent wife that still has Frankie's last name, Amira Lymon. She meets Frankie post Army, and they meet obviously through a weird situation where he walks in the bathroom, sees her, tries to compliment her, but obviously he's out of pocket, and she definitely checks him.
Crazy.
Definitely crazy. And you see that Frankie has kind of moved on from the industry and understands like he's gonna live a real life, and now he's moved to the South. She's a teacher, but she's very reserved because she hasn't been exposed to a lot. Shout out to Lela Rashawn because I think she played it so well. Like you felt like she was like really, reserved like that. Wholesome, yeah. Which kind of remind me of some of my aunties in Kentucky. Like I just felt like it was that same kind of vibe. I feel like that they could have been as kids, but and we see him, and he's slow. He's dating. He's actually dating her, and wanting to know her, keeping it innocent, not trying to get as Tommy Strong put it, get the draws. Like that's not his focal point. That's not his mission. And eventually they do get married, and he's living a good old Southern life until they go to the church. Well, till the postman comes up and asks him, "Hey, ain't you Frankie Lymon?" He's like, "Oh yeah," and that felt good to him until he was like, "Oh, I thought you was dead." And that that right there. Now, was that before the little boy was singing in the church?
I can't remember.
Okay.
That's a good question.
No,
Yeah,
the church scene was first.
yeah.
Amira was saying how sometimes she would see the pain in him that she couldn't reach, and that was when he would be in the church watching the little boy thinking about himself. The mailman came right before he decided he was about to leave again.
Okay. So, and then Amira trying to be supportive. She's an educator, so not to say she got more understanding for mental health in this era, because she not necessarily does, but she seems to have they're a little older. She's around 28. He's around 24. She has a little bit of more life experience, so she kind of understands, like, and she's from the South, so I feel like she's gonna be just super supportive, because it's like, hey, look, I trust him. He's coming back home to me, and that's all that matters. And he's selling it. He's like, hey, I'll be back. Hey, when we get back, let's start a family. He's telling what you want to hear, but that might be enough to get by. But what do y'all think about that whole dynamic with Frankie and Amira?
I wasn't mad at it because, again, I like seeing Frankie when he's sober and clean and picking up new interest. And of course, there's always a woman involved, but yeah, she was structured, stable, and this was a point in his life. Because I'm trying to, they tied it in so good, like when they were bouncing. Because I think the last part was when Zola was like, last I heard he joined the military or something, you know what I mean? And then they kind of tie it in, and so I just like how it kind of combines. But I don't have too much with their dynamic because it wasn't too much to pull there for me personally. Maybe if we would have saw a little more. It almost felt a little rushed, but obviously, I mean, we know what was about to happen. But I feel like this was the fastest part, right? And I just, maybe if that was slowed down just a little bit, because I didn't really get too much, like, other than she was just a sweetheart, very structured, stable, and she saw Frankie for him. You know what I mean? She didn't see him for the star or. Oh, bro's froze on my screen. Oh, okay. I thought that was my internet. She just saw him for him, and she wanted a life with him, and she loved him. Introduced him to some things, willing to be open to things. Like, he was teaching her how to dance. Like, it was just a cute, just a cutesy type of relationship. Going to church, very grounded. Like, it was just cool. Like, then come to find out, your boy AWOL. Well, that's what they said. He'd been AWOL 4 months. It was like, it ain't Frankie if it wasn't something going on, boy, behind the scenes. But it's crazy because they took him, right, and then he was like, this is all a misunderstanding. So then obviously that got worked out, because that's when he came back, and then the postman and all that, right?
Well, it didn't get worked out. He got dishonorably discharged from the
military. Yeah, I just meant like where he was still able to like come back home, because I thought they ain't even.
He lucky he ain't go to jail.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, because then he did come back. Because I think when I was watching it back then, I was thinking like he never came back after that. Like, I didn't tie together all that,
You got you got a little bit of a Mandela effect with this movie. I do. I thought I thought there was some physical abuse in this movie, and
what?
I did. I thought there was a slap with Liz in my memory. I thought it was, but it never was. Not one time. So it's just my Mandela effect. That's the only reason I asked. But go ahead.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, I really don't have too much. Yeah.
Yeah. Mia, what about you?
All I have for this part is, because Ashley pretty much touched on it. You guys both did. But I just thought it makes me so sad, because it feels like this would have been the perfect situation.
Yes.
landed. Like
Yes.
after everything, you finally find somebody who's grounded and like
Mm-hmm.
is got a life set up for herself that she's just able to include you in. Like she doesn't really need anything from you. She's she's established in her
Hmm.
own way. She's got a good head on her shoulder. She's educated.
Educated.
She
Yeah.
probably help you get yourself together. Like you're still very young. Like he could
Hmm.
have
Right.
went to school.
He could get a degree, yeah, and get
He
into.
could have made a career out of the military, which I don't know how that works for a 4 foot tall man, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, there's so much that he could have done. He went like they really could have started a family. They could have. There's so much. There was so much promise and opportunity in this life with Amira that he was building, and he just could not beat those demons like that life that he lived before just still has such a hold on him.
Yeah.
It was just really sad to me. Like that was when it was like, yeah, there's no hope. Like there's no saving Frankie from himself. Like he and so I while I do feel for her, I feel like from what they give us, it seems like she spent the least amount of time with Frankie.
Yeah, for sure.
But and she didn't get hurt in the same way that Zola and Mickey did because she did he was at a different place in his life. Of course she got hurt because he left and then he passed away, but she didn't lose her life savings or her
Her
dog or
dog, yeah, for sure.
necessarily the way that they did. So I don't necessarily have as much of an emotional pull for her character, but it's more just sad that he could have had something here and he didn't.
Yeah. I think they did a great job because they knew it wasn't a lot there, but they set it up where there's anticipation. We're like, okay, what about this last wife? And they built it up nicely. And again, like I said, according to research, it's like it was around 24, and obviously he passed at 25. Yeah, that's the tough thing. But I'll say this, and I'll save it for a later section. But so eventually, after that, she has trust in him to let him go and pursue what he needs to pursue. And he never quite gets it together. He ends up, getting some more drugs, and he ends up overdosing. Now, let me say this, and y'all can react, and then anything that we missed, we'll touch on before we get into our categories. When I was a kid, this scene, like him dying, felt more epic. This time around, it didn't feel epic like that because of how they did it. And again, they probably did it because it's like nobody was around when he did. So you're taking artistic measures of what you think. You just know that he overdosed, but you don't know what those moments were like. So then they just tie in the memories and stuff. So I'm not mad at what they chose. I'm just saying that when I was younger, as a kid watching this, it felt so epic. It didn't feel epic this time. Like for me, I was like, oh, okay. So that's all I wanted to say about like Frankie in the film. Conclusion, how they put it together.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I ever remember it being epic. All I know is Morris, the greasy record executive, the way he was talking to him, that was sadder to me than actually seeing him die. Like the look on his face when that man was telling him basically, like, you're washed up, you're a has-been, doo-wop is dead, you're a junkie, you ain't never gonna be shit, your babies ain't gonna be shit, your mom ain't shit, your daddy ain't shit. Like he
I tell
basically
your mama you ain't shit.
like he went in on him so hard. He said, you know what? Yeah, I'm about to go do some drugs. Like he really like it was like that was so hard to watch. It was so sad in the way that Larenz Tate played it. You could see like he was really hurt by that. So that was more that had more emotional pull to me than oh well he went and he overdosed and he's dead now. I didn't have like I didn't cry or shed a tear. It didn't feel like too emotionally gripping for me that he passed away because I felt like we all knew he was about to pass away anyway. Um, but yeah, and then I think, the way that they wrap up the movie with, seeing what happened with the court case. Also, I don't know if that we were supposed to be heartbroken by his death. I think it was just a fact of the matter.
Ash.
Yeah, I didn't feel a type of way like seeing the actual death either. I just remember hearing like when he was in there watching Zola perform, and then Little Richard comes out and everything just gets really loud, like like out there, and then also in his head. I just feel like it was just like you said, doing the montage of everything. He's just his breaking point. You know what I mean? Like everything is playing back. All these relationships with these different women. No children. We found out he had a brother because they said his brother was the one that found him overdosed.
You know
So
what's
like,
crazy? In real life, he did have kids. I think he
did
had.
it?
I think him and Mickey actually had a kid together. Uh, from
See,
what
that's good to know.
it was unclear. Like the research on him is kind of
It is.
like
And
it's like
it's so far back that I understand. Like this is before you getting interviews and getting the inside scoop. You only going by hearsay. So I understand that.
he may have had some kids, maybe not. I don't know. It said it a little bit maybe on the internet, but they didn't put it in the movie. But
yeah, but even the brother part is like, oh,
Yeah,
he
that should
did because he did say that when he was talking to Zola in the diner, like, oh yeah, me and my brother used to play this game with their dad, so he did say that. I forgot, but I just hate that last hit came from the guy that beat you up years ago when you was with Mickey. You know what I mean? Well, if it isn't Frankie Lymon, and then he's talking about walk with me, it's just,
Man, he got the fentanyl in the 60s, bro.
listen, that last, I'm not going nowhere with you. But again, he was already,
Yeah, he probably intended to go. Like
that's what I'm saying. You could tell like he was at his lowest point, and it's just like he probably thinking nobody cares.
I gotta
like
I gotta take
ruined
it
every relationship, like everything. I don't have my music. I don't have my brothers from my group. I don't have any of my wives.
I don't matter.
Yeah.
What is the phrase you always say?
I don't know who I am anymore, or if I ever knew.
What's the phrase you use from Love and Basketball about? It's not fun for me anymore. What's the quote?
Basketball, Smith?
Love. Yeah. What do you always say?
What?
It's the Love and Basketball phrase. You always say, love.
Basketball isn't fun for me anymore because you're missing.
Yeah. That's kind of like, I feel like that's like Frankie Lymon, where it's like I like seeing that little boy in that church, like really like messed him up. Cause it was like, dang, bro, I'm so far from that. That's, so, any last notes or anything y'all want to say about the movie before we get into our categories?
Just Mickey ends up winning, but then and tells because they had that whole plan to split the money. And when she wins, she said, yeah, you thought. But then her and Amira end up in court back and forth. And Amira ends up winning but doesn't get that much. And that's pretty much where they leave us with.
Yeah, which was so funny. Look, only thing I wanted to bring up was Little Richard. Little Richard, he came on and he stole the show for the little moment that we was on. And I got a quote from him later, but it's a interesting thing that Little Richard is telling his testimony about Frankie Lymon, but in real life, he actually did know Frankie Lymon. And I looked online and I found a photograph of him backstage with Frankie Lymon. So it was like kind of a weird, my brain was breaking in that moment because I didn't know how to process this. I'm like, wait a minute. He's in a movie, a biopic about Frankie Lymon that he knows, but is he speaking to what he actually knows, or he's speaking to what the film is revealed to? It was making my brain crack because I'm like, yo, it's like breaking the fourth wall. We in the Matrix. It was like, whoa, I didn't know what to do with it. And then you got somebody else playing you in the past. And yeah, so but when he came in, he definitely stole the show.
Love him. Love him down.
Mm-hmm.
Love.
Shut up. All right.
Nobody like him.
Boy, one of a kind. All right. Well, character you relate to or identify with the most? Ash.
I kind of pulled from all three of the ladies, actually. Zola, when it came to her passion, her awareness, and her sense of style. I'm pretty stylish, if I'm being honest. Elizabeth, just in the sense of holding your man down. And of course, that could look different for everybody. I've never been down this path, but everybody's had a time probably where they, you want to just hold your man down in their dark times and just try to uplift. And Amira, just with her stability and structure, and I've always moved in that manner. So, yeah.
I like it. That's very eloquent how you put that. I like that.
Appreciate that.
What about you, Mia?
It was hard for me. It was hard to see myself in any of these characters, namely the women. But I did end up going with Zola just because sometimes I can be a little of a
diva.
First of all, no.
I was just a guess. Just a guess.
That was not where I was going with
My bad.
I was gonna say I can like if I have a soft spot for somebody, like you can ask my dad and my mom about like friends I've had in the past who may not have been the best people, but I always have like a soft spot for an underdog or somebody who I feel like I see the good in you, even if everybody else don't see it, and tend to get played with real bad when I do want to help or save somebody who is kind of like beyond what I can do for them. So I related to in that sense. I've been there, done that.
I just want to save you, but I can't. Spider-Man.
Superman.
All right. Hey, I know it's slap. Stop playing. All right. I didn't have nobody originally, but when Ash was speaking to what she's speaking to, it kind of spawned a thought. So since we're getting kind of three versions of Frankie Lymon, I'm going with the third version of Frankie Lymon with the Amira era, in the sense that when he was in the church, this scene was so heavy for me because he's at a place where he was trying to make peace with, okay, I'm not going to be what I thought I was going to be. Maybe my season of being a star as a singer, notarized, everybody knows me, that's over with, is done. I got to get into real life. I got to start figuring out some things. And it's him seeing that kid singing a solo, seeing all of that kid's hopes and dreams and potential, how it flared up something in him, in the sense that, like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to let it go. And again, the movie's not saying that, but my observation and interpretation of it, I'm seeing it through Lorenz's choice in that moment of acting. He's like, bro, I'm just not ready yet. And again, he's so young. So it is like, bro, like I'm only 24, about to be 25. Like I can still do this. I started at 14. Yeah. So I felt where he was coming from. And then, for us that, are trying to like get in our bag for our own personal things that we're talented and skilled at, when you're still young, you're like, bro, I still got more left in the tank. So I probably go with that, like Frankie from the Amira era right before his unfortunate passing. Get to stepping. Character you could do without. Mia B.
I didn't say anybody because when it's a real story, I tend to like feel like, I mean, they were people who were there, so
Okay, fair. Ash.
I didn't have anybody.
Um, I do. So as much as Little Richard was like took over and killed it, and he's super funny when he gets out. You know, he gets out there, and I enjoy it because he act. You know, like I told y'all, he actually knew Frankie Lymon, but I think the flashback version of him served better. I think that bringing Little Richard on, he had a specific personality that like you could tell when people direct him or whatever. You got to let Little Richard do Little Richard. And that's what it is. Even when he was on Martin, like you got to let him cook. Like let him cook. You can't tell Little Richard nothing. So he gonna tell you shut up. So, but I do think that similar to like Halle Berry when she didn't actually meet with the real Zola Taylor. Like I think this one of the things was like it's great to have him because he is a star, he is a legend. But I think maybe we could do without him. So. Lines that deserve to be slimed. Ash.
I have quite a few. A lot from Elizabeth, really. She's hilarious. Is there a 555 number for LAWYER? Come on, this is information. I need some information about a lawyer. It's a summer dog. Some of this, some of that. You know you like music. These are all Elizabeth. This was from Little Richard. I guess Chitlins is out of the question. This is from Zola. No, you better let me take care of this one, because if you haven't heard, my record's number one. Also from Zola, he's a chicken shit kind of guy. Talking about Morris. Elizabeth, I'm out here looking for you, and all you can think about is your snot-nosed old girlfriend. Frankie, I'm on top of the world, ma. Elizabeth, Zola ain't got no hair. Zola ain't got no hair. And last one from Zola, a hammer. Frankie wouldn't know a hammer if it hit him in the head. My bad if I took it in, y'all. I'm sorry.
Nah, that's fine. That's fine. You nailed that. No pun intended.
Hey, Elizabeth was going crazy.
Yeah, she was. Mia.
Okay, so I did have that summer dog line in mind. I had Little Richard line when they were asking about, do you think Morris did that to Frankie? And he said, "Oh, honey, Morris didn't even use no Vaseline."
Boy.
We know what that means. This is from Zola. That flat-footed little weirdo played all of us. And then they were talking about him, and she was like, he could sing me right out of my panties because it be like that sometimes. And then
singers, huh, man? Okay.
That's your thing, huh? That's the market for it, huh?
There's a market for it. There's a piece of me that likes a piece of that sometimes.
Yeah, okay. I feel you.
Just a piece. But then there's
crazy.
Amira. Maybe there were three separate Frankies and each of us got a piece.
That's the overarching quote of the movie. For sure. For me, be careful. This guy is so slimy, you might catch lice through the phone. That's from Liz. These guys look pretty un-Spanish. That's when obviously was been promoted as a Latin group. I think Ash had it. Oh Lord, the chitlins are out of question. First you need to come up out the conch. We ain't colored no more. We black. This LA, baby. That's obviously when Frankie came back with Zola, and like he's like, oh, okay, I could dig it. You got the shades on. You need to get that, basically get that perm up out of here. LA, PD. I have this insane nappy-headed black woman here. This is Zola phone call calling the police on Liz. I had the flat-footed line, and my last one is from the manager. And I'm going to say this is direct quote, so excuse my language, but it was so funny. I had to put it here. You're not a cute kid anymore, Frankie. You're a loser. You're a has-been, and you're a fucking drug addict. Now get your fucking ass up out of here.
Yeah, he was going hard.
Hey, he was so crazy out here, bro.
Would have took more with me. You gotta come. We
go to the bottom together, bro. Because it's like, stop playing with me. Oh man, things you would change the movie. What you feel they didn't get right, Ash?
I didn't have anything.
Mia?
No.
Okay, a couple of things, minute, but I'm gonna mention it. So the cigarette in the beginning with the lawyer, when the lawyer visits Liz, it's not smoking. They get it right later in the movie, but in the early part of it, like they light it and then there's no smoke. It looks fake. Like it's continuity issues.
Never noticed that.
Yeah. Also,
Liz was smoking?
yeah, like in the jail. Yeah, like at the jail when they can. It's the '80s, so they can still smoke inside. And then also, they have Aries Spears as Red Fox. Don't get me wrong. He is one of the kings of impersonations, and he nailed it. But like, bruh, Red Fox, I know he likes skin, bruh.
Red.
That's what I'm saying. That's literally what my notes is. His name is Red.
That's why I didn't even put him in the appearances by.
Yeah.
Also, personally, I just really hate Aries Spears as a human being.
Oh, you really hate him?
Yeah.
Is it the nuke the generation statement that he made?
No, he's a horrendous person.
He's pretty terrible.
That's a conversation for off air.
That's true. He's pretty terrible. But yeah, that and that's about it. That's just those two. Like just a little bit of everything else. I mean, what I've wanted more, sure, but like the movie didn't get it wrong. More of the story in your opinion, Mia B.
I said you can't save anyone who doesn't want to be saved.
Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her. Ash.
And this was a loaded. I mean, you could say anything really.
For sure.
I was thinking more from the lens of the women. Love should never cost you your identity. I think once they got with Frankie, they all just kind of lost their way. So.
Yeah, I know, man. Damn. I feel for black women, man. I love black women. Shout out to y'all, man.
I love you too.
My moral of the story is you have to know when the game has left you behind.
Damn.
This is a hard thing. Like I don't think people really talk about this a lot. And this probably will be eventually at some point a memo with Mo for another week in the books. But like that was a struggle for Frankie. And again, he's in the era where like there's no social media, there's no discourse, there's no people to say, hey, I've been there, done that. Trust me, this is what you need to do to adjust. He ain't know. And so when he's seeing that kid sing and when he getting the dude talking about, oh, I thought you was dead, like he hadn't known. And again, that's why I brought up that quote from the label exec when he was like, bro, you're not a cute kid anymore. Like doo-wop is out. And then I could have brought more because he was bringing in some of the other like acts that were out. Like nobody's doing that no more, and you ain't adjusted, and you don't have it. And this is an era where they depended on everybody else. Like we in an era where we'd make everything happen on our own, but they were in an era where you're the talent, and that's all you are. And so just for him, he had a good wife, he had a good living, out in the South, but he still thought like I could get back in the game, and the game has left you behind. And that's what I don't want to be. I don't want to be this washed up dude that I get older and I'm still thinking, oh, I still got it. Watch out there now. Like, I don't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? There's a way I see myself aging, and I'm super conscious of how I'm aging according to how I see myself. And I don't know how many people think about that, but you should really think about it. I'm very conscious of that. But anyway, that's like Mia said, that's all fair conversation. I got a lot about that. And that's our episode, man. What a great episode. Great pick, Ash. Ash had to bring us in because me and Mia, we went deep cut, and actually Ash went deep cut as well.
I did go
You
deep.
know, she went deep cut on the classic. You know, so with that being said, y'all have been waiting for it. I know your anticipation is high, and here we are. So, again, let me tell you the movies that were in the votes: Baby Boy, Above the Rim, The Sandlot, and Juice. And what was decided, this is by y'all, not us. We didn't pick this. We didn't make no suggestions. Y'all voted these movies, and y'all have voted, and y'all have spoken. So our last movie of the Dealer's Choice rotation is Baby Boy.
Wow, I'm shocked.
I was, bruh.
Dude.
Now, real quick, I'm just gonna give the reveal here. I've been in a conversation with Spike Lou. Spike wants to get on. He wants to talk about Baby Boy. So I will keep y'all posted in the chat if he's able to do it or not. Because he wants to get on. Like, he's trying to make the adjustment out because he enjoys this movie. And I think he just got a lot to say. And I think a second male perspective would help level this movie out real quick before we get into it. How do y'all feel about the Stoop Kids picking that movie?
I'm not mad at it. I'm shocked. I thought Above the Rim was going to win, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm not mad at it either at all. I really thought Juice was going to win.
For sure.
But no, I'm not mad at it. And I would love to have a second male perspective because I feel like it is necessary in this instance. Yeah.
Man, yeah. Shout out to Rich. This is one of his favorite movies. He said that when this movie come out, that's gonna be their last Culture Guard episode. So that's funny. I don't know what ours would be, but I think about it. But anyway, so yeah, there y'all have it. So our next episode, I think this is 2001, 2002, something like that. But it's perfect. I mean, Tyrese, Tank, the verses, the turtleneck thing, it's perfect. It all aligns. So that's the movie we're doing next. So hopefully we'll have a special guest. If we don't, we're going to do the thing that we do best. Ladies, a wonderful job as always. So glad we got to talk about this movie. This Dealer's Choice has been great. Y'all, we got one more movie to do, which is Baby Boy, and we're gearing up for our Mother May I month. Mia, you're first.
Yes.
Mia will have the first pick when we get into May. So we're getting into our Mother's Day theme, and then we'll obviously get into our Father's Day theme, and so on and so forth. So y'all be prepared for that. And spoiler alert, I've already found my movie.
Oh, I got mine.
I found it, and I'm excited about it. So, man, thank y'all for tuning in. The street lights is coming in. The week ain't over yet, so we got to get in before the street lights hit. You know, parents gonna tell you what time it is. So thank y'all for tuning in. Subscribe, like, share. Please leave an Apple review. We appreciate y'all. Peace.